this body that is animate, that is moving, but is dead in some way. And you mentioned something I think is interesting, that people will enact this thing. I mean, maybe later we could kind of look this up from like people who did it, why they say they did it.
Mm,
But that is interesting that they're kind of play acting, being that thing, being a walking dead. And I don't know what that means exactly, but it seems like it has something to do, sort of makes me think of like depression,
mm,
where you're going through life, but you don't have much pleasure, or things sort of seem black and white. And yeah, you're moving, but you don't feel like the spirit of life. You don't feel alive. You don't feel very connected. You don't feel a sense of meaning and purpose. But I don't know. What do you think of those zombie walks?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the just to kind of touch on that last thing you were talking about before I get to the zombie walks, because I think that I don't know, that spoke to me, that like the depression, the lack of meaning and purpose. Clearly, that's where Vervaeke's going, at least as far as the meaning crisis is. So I'm sure we'll be able to unpack this more later.
Mm,
But yeah, that's really like the feeling of being both alive and dead at the same time. The
mm,
feeling of like, well, I'm here, I'm not, I can move, but something in me doesn't feel alive. Implies there's some knowledge somewhere in the unconscious of what feeling alive would actually be. To have
mm,
a lack, you have to have a reference of what you're lacking.
mm,
Um, and I guess that would be my thoughts about the zombie walk, in that um the same way that you'll have people sort of say truths that are difficult, but then turn them into a joke. There's a lot of truth and humor.
mm,
Um, I imagine people are going on zombie walks for fun. I don't think anybody's going out there to make a social statement and be very like conceptual and forceful about it. I imagine it's just like, oh, it's the same Santa, people will dress up like Santa and go pub crawling and around Christmas time, and it's just a fun thing to do. But I think the reason it carries enough meaning that people are, there's these mass numbers of people going out and doing it, as they lay out in the book, is there's this sense of like I am able to represent something through my actions to myself and to other people that feels true about me, or that on some level, like, or I recognize is true about other people, or there's this unspoken truth in and amongst the culture that we're
mm,
all sort of just mindlessly consuming things. There's this lack of meaning. And if we can't talk about it, because to talk about it is to make it real, is to then we have to face it. And then we're not zombies, then we're terrified. Then we're being attacked by the. But if there's some sort of social law or social more of like, oh, don't talk about it, then it gets repressed. And if it's repressed, but it still wants to be expressed in some way, this is a way to do that. It's a way to sort of embody it, enact it, make it visible in the culture, in a way that at least the idea and the experience and the feeling of it is is brought out of the unconscious enough that it's present. And I would imagine there's some level of like pressure release around doing it, of just like, oh, this is, and again, on kind of an unconscious level, but of like of um enacting that sort of the myth, enacting that myth of like, oh, here's the story of something that's true about us, that captures, it's a symbol that captures more things than a lecture will capture. An
mm,
image is worth 1,000 words. A play is worth more than 1,000 words.
mm,
An enactment of something is a moving image. So every move is like another 1,000 words, I guess, if you want to
mm.
take that literally. But you can say a lot through movement and through play acting than you can through uh, just talking into a camera. Um, and I think there's some element to that in there. Just that it holds the image up to the society.
Please like and subscribe for more of our open-minded content, and comment below on your thoughts or questions about the story. Let us know if you'd like us to cover another stimulating story, and thank you for participating.